Okay, so here it is. F9, the Fast Saga. They gotta have weird names for these movies. Uh, so before I get to the review, I have a little story to tell. So obviously, with the way the world is right now, kind of hard to go to movie theaters. We don't have one in town anymore, so I had to wait till this came out on Blu-ray. So I made sure to have at least $30 on me when the movie came out on Blu-ray, and I went to Walmart. Our Walmart sucks because when I went there, I went to the back. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. They had nothing. They didn't have one copy. The whole entire shelf that said F9, empty. And the more I thought about it over the week, I don't think they ever actually stocked it. But, so I had to resort to other things, so I went to eBay, and I got this delivered to me. It's okay. They're invincible. So, damn it. Falling down! You good? Okay. So, I had to get this off eBay, and I got it 1 week, a little over a week later. That's today. And so here we are. Finally got to watch it. Put it in right away. Like I got it packaged, came up, opened it, put it right in the Blu-ray player because I wanted to watch this movie. Right? So I think the biggest problem, because I thought about this. So the big marketing thing for this was that Han was alive. If you watched my trailer reaction, you saw me just bewildered and going, how? But yeah, he's alive, and that's the big marketing thing. And it's not a surprise because he's on the cover, and yet in the movie they make it a big deal about how it's a secret and about his reveal. Yes, it's a secret to them, but it's also supposed to be a secret to us. But we saw the trailers, so we know that he's alive. So first and foremost, this movie starts with a flashback showing the events that were explained in the first film about how Dom's dad died in a stock car race, and he beat that guy with the wrench. Some things were retconned, such as now Dom and Mia have a brother, and how he died. Like, he said that it was some other guy, but now they changed it to something was cut. It was supposed to make him lose, but it didn't, and it went poof, and then he died, and Michael Rooker was there with a bad wig and goatee, and it didn't even try to make him look younger. And so that's a flashback. But I have a question. Like, the guy they got to play the younger version of Dom, he's black. Last time I checked, Vin Diesel not black. So I think he's supposed to be Hispanic, but the actor looks black. He could be Hispanic because the dad looks Hispanic. Yet, and Mia's Hispanic, but then you have John Cena, who's the least Hispanic motherfucker I ever seen. Okay? I mean, there was that one time he wrestled in Mexico with a purple mask and called himself Juan Cena, but that doesn't count. So, yes, and then we cut to present time, where we have basically I'll tell you all the flashbacks here. We get a flashback of the race happening, then we get a flashback shows what happened afterward, and the guy he was racing against, one of the guys he was racing against, goes off on him. That's the guy that gets beat with the wrench. Dom goes to prison. Jacob's left alone, even though he's not actually alone because the sister should still be there. So it makes no sense, but he had no one. He was alone. But They make a big deal about how John Cena was alone and Buddy, or Michael Rooker's character, had to raise him. But what happened to Mia? She kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Like, she was there. She wasn't there, but she's later there. I think they're supposed to be her at one of the races that they have, but she kind of left out of the story until she shows up in present time, which is weird. We get to present time, and we see how they greet their guests at this farm that they live on, because, like, and I even called it out. I'm like, I called this, too, because, like, they see someone coming in unannounced, right? And they grab for guns and tell the kid to hide in a box immediately. And I'm like, what kind of greeting is that? What if it's Roman driving up? And as soon as he pops his head out, hey, yo, it's me, Roman. I'm like, see, what did I tell you? You gonna shoot at him? Although, he has a theory as to why that wouldn't work. But we'll get to that later. So, tells him that Mr. Nobody was on a mission. We get a couple cameos from Kurt Russell, because apparently he was busy doing other stuff at this point. But he has little cameos. By the way, they never find him. Wasn't that the whole start of this? That they were supposed to find him? They never found him. Yeah, is he alive? What happened to Mr. Nobody? I gotta know. Is Kurt Russell alive in this movie? They never investigated. They just say he was gone. They never got him back. Maybe that'll be in the next one. They're gonna get him back in F10 or FX, as Chris Tuckman suggested it should be, which would be fine, but I don't know if they can get away with that. You know, the cable channel and all that. But put a dash in it. It's not copyright. Put a dash in there. F hyphen or whatever that is. X. It's not copyright. But anyway, although there is another movie called FX, Brian Dennehy, and a sequel called FX2, which doesn't make any sense. But anyway, off of that. So now they go to this other country. There's a lot of unpronounceable countries, as I noticed. They seem very made up because I never heard of them before, but I don't know, this movie jumps the shark so much they could be made up. But they go to this one country, whatever it was, and they find the plane. They go to the set of Lost, right? And they find this plane crashed somewhere on some island or something. And it's not the set of Lost, but you know what I mean. And they look in there and they say, oh, he's not in here. Still, where he is, Mr. Nobody. They never even tried to find him. But and Roman's like, there's like nobody out here. It's like quiet, like not a soul. And then automatically people show up right after that. So it's like, wait, how did you not see them coming? Okay, but yeah, there's a thing that they find. It's a half of a thing. That it's the MacGuffin of this movie. Like the last three had MacGuffins. It's a thing you put with another thing, you put together, and you need a key. Very important. You need a key to activate it, and then it's gonna do something. They just basically what they explain is it's the end of the world if they do it. Like everyone is screwed or something. I don't remember exactly what it does, but it's bad. It's MacGuffin. You don't really need to care what it does. You need to stop it, right? John Cena shows up and he's, and because first of all, Dom doesn't want to go until he sees video footage of someone wearing the necklace, which we never actually see John Cena wear in the rest of the goddamn film, but he's apparently wearing. He's not even wearing it when he shows up. He's apparently wearing it when they attack Mr. Nobody, but he's not even wearing it when he shows up. So would he just like do that to get Dom's attention and throw it away? What I don't know. I don't know anymore. But anyway, yes, and then they reveal Jacob is Dom's brother. We do that from the trailers, of course. We do that's later though. We get the stunt where he jumps off the thing and Cypher saves him. Wait. Wasn't she locked up at this point? Or is it? I'm confused. How did she save him and she ends up locked up afterwards? I don't know. She saves him, I guess. and or maybe it wasn't her and it just cut that in the trailer. And the trailer looked like it was her. But anyway, it magnet thing. And they use this magnet thing fucking throughout the goddamn movie. But, like... And then they do the thing from the trailer where Dom hits that thing and it connects to the axle and it swings him around, although it would break the axle and throw him across and they'd both be dead and go poof by then. But, yeah, and, so now they have to split up because it's Scooby-Doo. We gotta split up, gang. And so we have Letty and Mia. Mia shows up because Letty told her about Jacob. With a K, by the way. With a K. Like the Robin Williams movie, Jacob the Liar. Jacob with a K. Because we gotta be fancy. With a K, fancy with a K. Anyway, so she finds out. So she goes with Letty to Tokyo, which is the only country I remember because it's the only one that I think is real. Except for London and Edinburgh. But Edinburgh is a city, not a country. Shut up. Yes, may I help you, sir?
Was this about Edinburgh not being real?
No, I said there's a lot of countries with names I'd never heard of that they show in this. Like there's one like Tillenbillim or whatever it's called. I never heard of it before. They could be fake. Except for London, Edinburgh, and Tokyo. I know those are real. But it's not a country, it's a city. But anyway, so we lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
So they go to Tokyo. The Roman and Tej go to the country name I don't remember. And that's where they meet Sean and Earl from Tokyo Drift. And they're working on a rocket car that's supposed to launch up. And it's just a joke to set up an explosion and go poof. And to establish that they're going to use this later for something and something. They'll do something. So then we have Dom go to London. I think he has an encounter with his brother first. And then he goes, or maybe it's vice versa, but he goes to London to talk to Jason Statham's mom to get help. And then he goes to see Dom in Edinburgh or somewhere. And he's working with this guy named Otto. And Otto is a stupid character. He's not really necessary in this movie because he's just a guy. And then Dom they have a fight. No. There is a fight. But it might be later. But Dom gets arrested. But then it's Cardi B and a bunch of other chicks. And by the way, Cardi B can't act out of her way out of a paper bag. Just so you know, she's terrible. Don't know why they put her in this movie. But apparently she's related. She's a little sister of Kara. I don't remember who that is, but I feel like that's someone we met before. I don't know. But anyway, so he's saved by them. And then, so Mia and Letty are in Tokyo, right? They're looking around and they're trying to find a key, right? And then there's these bad guys that show up and they start shooting at them, but somebody is up there shooting at them, shooting at the bad guys, and they kill the bad guys, and you see him peeky out the side. Who could it be? And then the light flashes on. Oh, it's Han. He's alive. We knew that from the trailer, but it's supposed to be a surprise. And we find out that he's protecting a British, Japanese, Chinese, Asian woman. A British Asian woman, basically. Because she has a connection to the key. We'll just say that right now. She has a connection to the key. So everybody meets back up again at the sewers. And yes, Roman does make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference. He's like, if Ninja Turtles come up in here, I'm done. I'm out. Because you gotta have Roman be the comic relief. But, yes. And he does state, I think it's before this, but he does state, or maybe it's around this part. They have Roman be the audience point of view character and call out all the bullshit they survived in the previous films by saying, I think we're invincible. And they're like, oh, I think you're full of shit. And yeah, so he's supposed to be the audience point of view character calling out all the bullshit they survived. I think we invincible. Look at this. I got shot. There's bullet holes, but not a mark. Not a scar on my body. He's got a point. Out of all these movies, they just get more and more ridiculous. And we haven't got to the most ridiculous yet. You just wait for that. So, now we get the retcon of how Han survived the crash. Are you ready for this? You ain't ready for this, but are you ready? Are you ready? You ain't ready, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So, here's what happened. Get this, all right? So, apparently, after Giselle died in Part 6, Han went to Tokyo, but he had communications with Mr. Nobody. So apparently he was working for Mr. Nobody in Tokyo, but so he had to steal this MacGuffin that they have, this orb thing that does stuff. He went there, but he wasn't alone because some other people tried to steal it and killed the man and woman, the guy who invented it and his wife, and they had a little girl, a daughter. And that's the girl he's been protecting. By the way, she was nowhere to be seen in Tokyo Drift, by the way. So I don't know where she was at this point. Was Mr. Nobody protecting her? And here's the most bullshit about the retcon. Apparently, what's the word? Interpreted? No. What's the word when you're waiting for something to happen? You know it's gonna happen. They were expecting. Yeah, they were expecting Deckard Shaw to show up and do something after the death of his brother. Apparently. And so they set up the explosion and his death, and I call bullshit. Alright? How does a random ass car chase from starting... Okay, so how does a random ass car chase that started because DK accused him of stealing money end up in some elaborate scheme to fake kill yourself? They didn't even know he was going to be racing on that road. They're just like, oh, DK's going to come after me about the missing money at one point, and we'll just set the plan up. What's worse than this, we find out later, Sean and Twinkie, Twinkie is also there, and Earl, they had no idea. Although they aren't surprised he's still alive. At least Sean isn't. Twinkie looks like he pooped himself. But, like, they didn't know about it, but I don't know. When you try to... My head hurts. Try to think about it, your head's gonna go poof too, and you don't know. But yes, apparently he faked his own death to protect this girl because she's the key, because her DNA, her father's DNA, her family DNA, I think maybe it's her and her father, I think the mother would work, but is the thing that activates it. So, and at this point, they've also captured Jacob. Well, then Otto shows up with a bunch of bad guys, and they take her, they take the orb, and Jacob comes out because he's and John Cena, and then they just leave them there with the bad guys, and then they fight out the bad guys, and everyone runs away except for Dom, who's gonna fight out these bad guys, and then he breaks this bridge that's in the sewer thing and falls in the water, but you get another flashback vision thing. Like I think it's kind of like the life flashing before your eyes thing, but then Letty saves him, which my friend here pointed out the door was locked, so how could she do that? I don't know. Maybe she broke the door lock. I don't know. But, yes, saves him. And then, so now they're on the journey to stop them from activating the thing. So, they gotta do this. They gotta destroy the satellite. And they gotta stop the thing from from initiating. So they all got these cars with magnets in them, right? By the way, I should point out that there was a thing earlier with Ramsey where she couldn't drive. I don't know. I just gotta point that out. She couldn't drive. Did she not drive in any other? I don't think she did. I think she was always in the passenger seat. But anyway,
Sorry, 1 second. I gotta whisper something in your ear, okay? No, this dog's pretty today.
bullshit.
Don't believe me? Check Twitter.
I can't check Twitter. I'm recording a video.
Well, then I'll show you.
I'll check Twitter. Hold on.
Oh,
Twitter's in my oven. Twitter says 350 degrees. Oh.
Sorry for blocking your vision, everyone. That was an hour ago.
Okay. Where did it go?
You went under there.
I'm not saying that.
You mean underwear?
Okay, so the hell was I at? They're getting ready to stop the thing. Ooh, we're really close now. I love you, dear viewer. Anyway, man, I lost me a few subscribers there. Anyway,
Sorry.
no, I mean I was really close. But anyway, this is the most entertaining review I've ever done. So they're trying to stop the thing. And you got Dom, Letty, I think Mia, they're in the cars, and Ramsey is there. I think, yeah, they're all in cars. I think it's Han, Ramsey, and then Mia and Letty, and then Dom's on his own. And these two, what are these two doing? They going to space. No, I'm not joking. They going to space. Because if I think of two highly qualified people to go to space, I think these two motherfuckers right here, right? Right? A mechanic and an ex-con who hungry all the time. Anyway, so yeah, so they take that rocket jet thing, they went poof. Apparently they fixed it in this short time. And they attached it to a plane thingy and they're going up. Sean and Earl are flying the plane. They launch the thing. It goes into space. They're wearing like diver suits that apparently will work in space, I guess. And they go into space. And they're, oh no, we're going to die. Maybe we're not invincible. And then they crash into the... They decide to just fly right into the satellite, which they say will kill them. But this is a Fast and Furious movie. So they crash into the satellite. It goes poof. There's not a scratch on the car, man, but they floating in space. They're floating in space. And meanwhile, back on planet Earth, Otto turns on Jacob because he's working with Ramsey. Of course he is. But again, he's not important. He doesn't do anything but that in this movie. All we know really is that he's Jacob's partner, or was. So now Jacob is fighting this big bald guy who apparently is not deterred by giant metal signs hitting him in the head. And, you know, Dom sees this. Jacob goes flying. We get CGI John Cena for 4 seconds. And then lands on top of the Dom's car, whatever it is, or another car. And he gets in the orange car and drives away, but then turns back to help them because he is a good guy now. And because, you know, bad guys need redemption, I guess. And so he's driving. And he decides to help them. And they do this thing where they hit the vehicle flip it over using the magnet thing, flip it over, and then the guy dies. The guy is killed. I don't remember how. Otto is killed. I don't remember how. But then Ramsey gets away, because of course she does. Because the thing goes poof that she's in, but it's a drone and she's still alive because we need her for the last two movies they're going to do. And yeah, and they have a scene that calls back to the first film where he's like, hey, you're going to have your car back, because he's in Dom's car now because the orange car went poof. And if you don't know what poof means, it means it exploded. But it went poof, and then he's like, here, you're going to have your car back, and he's like, we family. And he's like, something about years ago, someone gave him a second chance. A 10-second car gave him a second chance or something like that. Which is called back to the end of the first film. So John Cena, Jacob takes off in the car, and then we get, isn't there another scene before this? For the end, we get another scene that kind of, they had the family thing, and then we think it's the end, but then there's a family dinner. I think Jacob is there, but I'm not sure. They have a family dinner, and they're, because we had to have the family barbecue, and they went to little Brian, to say grace, and then they cock block us here, because we're not gonna really get him, but it's a tease. They're like, there's one person missing. He's on the way, and you see a blue car pull up to the house. It's the same house from the first film that there is in construction, even though they were living on a farm. I don't know. I'm not going to question logic in these movies anymore. They went to space. These two motherfuckers went to space. I'm done with logic in these movies. Alright? Anyway. So the car pulls up. Cut to black. I know you couldn't actually show him. You could have his brother stand in like they did in Furious 7. But it's just a little hint that Brian's going to be there. I get it. You kept him alive. You made him be retired. Another thing I have to question, though, is when Mia shows up, she says, I can't, Brian is watching the kids. So anyone was questioning, what about the little Brian? Brian was watching the kids. My only problem with that is, especially if you're a Fast and Furious fan like me, Brian wouldn't be able to stay away in a situation like this. There's no way he'd stay behind and let his wife go, brother or not, be damned. Everyone is family, according to Vin Diesel. But, or Dom, whatever. There's no way he would stay behind. So, yes, I know they can't actually have him show up, or he'd be all CGI bullshit. But still, as much as them two going to space defies logic, I just can't believe that Brian would stay behind. But of course, that was the least unbelievable thing in this film. We get a mid-credit scene, right? Before I go, we get a mid-credit scene that shows Deckard Shaw supposedly working out. And he's in a hood, and he's punching and kicking, and I'm like, I could tell by the kick that that's Jason Statham, and puts out the hood. And then he unzips the punching bag, and there's a guy inside, and the guy's like, I'll tell you everything you want about the USB thing. He's like, what, you mean this USB drive? Here, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I think I'll get my exercise. And then all of a sudden there's a knock at the door, and he goes, don't go anywhere. Zips it up. I'm like, where's he gonna go? He's in a fucking bag. But anyway, he opens the door, and it's Han. And the look on his face means he just pooped himself. Because that's the guy he's supposedly killed, right? So we gotta have some kind of, is he gonna be in Hobbs and Shaw 2? Or is Jason Statham gonna be in the next one? Who knows? But, yeah, overall, it's just another Fast and Furious movie. I enjoyed it, but I'm a dumbass. I enjoy those kind of movies. I can turn my head off. There was a lot of logic issues. I did notice in this one, there was a lot of things that I questioned. And I feel like I shouldn't be questioning a lot of things in this franchise. But there's just so much going into space, and there's explosions and things. It's just retconning. This one is the one that asks the most of you as a fan of the franchise to just turn off your head and just go with it, which I recommend. And no, I don't buy it for $1 either. But because as soon as I said that, that popped in my head, so I had to make a joke. Anyway, but yeah, so what kind of rating do I give this thing? I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. But I don't understand how, like, a lot of things, I guess. But, and I watched the theatrical cut because I wanted to know what the original version was before I checked out the director's cut. I did the same thing with Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, but I saw the theatrical cut, so I was able to watch the unrated cut or the director's cut, whatever. Apparently there's 7 minutes extra in the director's cut, which is not much, but I don't know what's different in that. But anyway, yes, so it's a 7 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on F9, the Fast Saga? Just weirder names. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.